I hate questions like that.
She's the woman rewriting the global playbook on tourism, from shaping hospitality across the Middle East to taking the reins of one of the world's most powerful platforms for sustainable development.
I never felt like I had to ever prove myself as a woman. Action would speak louder than words.
Her Excellency, Shaikha Al Nowais, the first Emirati and first woman elected as Secretary General of UN Tourism.
I like to always speak to guests randomly. They don't know who I am. They don't know that I work in the hotel. And I like to listen to people on the ground.
What strategies from the UAE's playbook that you think are vital to global tourism?
He came with the family. All of a sudden, he got a heart attack. The wife was very worried, but we were there for her. We made her feel that you have family. Even if you're away of your home, you are still in your second home, which is the UAE.
What is so unique to the UAE that allows you to represent the country, to represent the world in such a way?
They believed in women's capabilities. It's very important for us to take those values that were instilled in us as UAE nationals on a global stage.
What is the most misunderstood power of tourism that the world still hasn't fully grasped?
Tourism is not on the top of the agendas still. This is what I want to get to through my role.
What is one global tourism initiative you would launch that doesn't exist yet?
If planned and done the right way, will have a great impact on the talent in different destinations.
She's the woman rewriting the global playbook on tourism, a visionary leader who went from shaping hospitality across the Middle East to taking the reins of one of the world's most powerful platforms for sustainable development. Today on She Leads, I'm joined by Her Excellency, Shaikha Al Nowais, the first Emirati and first woman elected as Secretary General of UN Tourism. With over 16 years of executive leadership at Rotana, she has navigated some of the most complex markets across the Middle East, Africa, and Europe. But it's her bold vision for the future of tourism that is capturing the world's attention. From regenerating ecosystems to empowering communities, from driving digital equity to championing women and youth, Shaikha is reframing tourism not just as an economic engine, but as a force for peace, dignity, and inclusive growth. In this conversation, we uncover the defining moments behind her historic rise, the 5 pillars that will shape her global mandate, and her message to the next generation of women leaders ready to lead with purpose on the world stage. Your Excellency, it is wonderful to be with you today.
It's lovely meeting you, Sari. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Your Excellency, you've just broken new ground, as we just said, as the first woman, as the first Emirati to be elected as Secretary General of UN Tourism. What does this mean for you, and why is it so important?
It means a lot. I think it's even very difficult for me to express myself and just say how much it means to me. Not only for me, but I think to every woman in the world, not only in the Middle East, but around the world. It's a message that nothing is impossible. With hard work, determination, and purpose, everything and anything is possible. So I think it's an opportunity for me to tell the world what we can do as women, as resilient women, and as women with passion and with purpose.
I can feel the fire in your voice, which is incredibly exciting for what is to come. But looking back on your more than 16 years with Rotana, as well as other platforms, many other platforms, what are the experiences that you feel like have really prepared you for this historic moment?
Sally, I've served, and I think it was a great opportunity for me. I've served as a board member in Abu Dhabi Business Women's Council, which is part of the Abu Dhabi Chamber of Commerce. I've also had, I was asked to join the board of trustees for Le Roche, Abu Dhabi Hospitality Academy. I think both has contributed a lot to my experience. It allowed me to meet people from different sectors through the board as well, and know what we can do. Let me talk to you first about my experience with Abu Dhabi Business Women's Council. We have around 35,000 businesswomen as part of the council. So this had allowed us to contribute through each and every one of the board's experiences. We managed to mentor them, those women. We managed to find a platform for them to showcase or to showcase their products. We created different exhibitions for them, and we created different workshops as well to upskill and to give them the right education and knowledge in sustaining their businesses. So I felt that this was a great experience for me, and it allowed me also to see what we can do to the businesswoman community, how we can prepare them, how we can scale their businesses up in so many ways through each and every member's network, through each and every member's board members' experience, because we are with the chairman, we are 4 women. Each one of us comes from a completely different background and a completely different experience. So we complemented one another. And our purpose and objective was to make sure how we can sustain and expand their network, the businesswomen's network. My role with Abu Dhabi Hospitality Academy, La Roche, was also very interesting because education is very important to me. It's also one of my mandates and one of the pillars that I want to work on, strengthen for the UAE tourism, because I believe with education, you have no limits, and it's the best way for you to grow, to learn, and to expand in so many ways. So I took this as an opportunity for us to also sponsor one of the students as Rotana Hotel Management. And I wanted also to tell the young Emirati men and women that hospitality is a beautiful industry. And that's the reason we wanted to sponsor, because I feel no one can represent the UAE as a destination better than people from the UAE who can reflect and who can reflect our traditions, reflect our culture, and pass on the right story to travelers that come to the UAE. So I feel that there's a lot that we can do collectively. And with this industry, you will be able to make a huge impact on different lives, communities, and the economy.
There's nothing like learning about a country, min ahl al-balad,
Exactly.
themselves.
Exactly.
It's such a special experience,
Yes.
especially here in the UAE. But I want to ask you, you talk about hospitality with such passion. Before corporate life, before strategy, before diplomacy, talk to me about when you fell in love with travel and with the world.
I think what differentiates a destination, or what makes you love a destination, is its people. So if the people are like, I just came back from South Africa. The people are just so friendly from the moment we landed in the airport. And we landed in Johannesburg, and we took a flight to Nursepluet where G20 happened. Every encounter we had was so special. People were so warm and so welcoming. And I think this is what allowed us to even, have a completely different eye to South Africa. It's all about people. So wherever you are, it's people that make a huge difference to what you do and how you experience things.
Are there any particular experiences that stand out for you, some that surprised you?
not experiences that I have encountered, but personally, but experiences that I think um, could be a good example of the impression you make on people. So I generally like to, during my experience with Rotan Hotels, one of the things I like to always do is to speak to guests randomly. They don't know who I am. They don't know that I work in the hotel. And I like to also listen to people on the ground, because in the field, in different hotels, and to the different encounters they experience with guests. So one of the experiences that recent experiences was with one of our colleagues who's in guest services. We had a guest who had booked a vacation to Abu Dhabi and stayed with us in Saadiyat Rotana. He came with the family, very excited, very happy to explore the destination. All of a sudden, he got a heart attack. But as difficult it might seem, it still is. We made sure that he leaves with a very positive impression. And I think this goes back to how genuine and how real or how human people can be, and the impression you can keep. So one the guest service manager reached out to with the wife. He made sure that he was transferred to the hospital. I remember, to Cleveland Hospital. We made sure that he was taken care of at the hospital. The wife, obviously, because he had to stay in the hospital for a couple of days. The wife was very worried, but we were there for her. We made her feel that you have family. Even if you're away of your home, you are still in your second home, which is the UAE. And I think this is something that will stay with her forever. I think no matter where she goes, she will remember this in a very positive way because of how it was dealt with. He sent her flowers, he sent her fruits, he gave her a hug. I remember this all meant so much to her. And I'm sure when she plans another trip anywhere in the world, she will remember the UAE.
You've set a very high benchmark there as well, because it's that care.
But Sally, it's not only about that, it's about how genuine you are with people, and people will feel it, whether you want it or not,
Your election now, it really represents a shift from the West, from Europe, being at the helm of these positions, now to the Middle East, to the global South as well. For you, how important is that shift for more representation to make sure that we are building these bridges?
I think everything, to me, it's very important for us to measure deliverables. We have a plan in mind, and for us to make a difference, an impactful difference, we need to deliver. And results will always be a way to speak your mind, to speak your actions. So it's very important with the plan that we have for my mandate that we communicate it the right way and we show the results.
There is so much to be said. I think, this historic moment with a woman being at the helm of the UN tourism now, there is so much to be said about the UAE support of women in leadership. It almost feels like something very unique to the country here, where women are always promoted in a way that they are supported to become great leaders on the world stage, not just in the country, but on the world stage. As an Emirati woman, what do you think it is that is so unique to the UAE that allows you to represent the country, to represent the world in such a way with such great confidence?
I think the UAE has been has been amazing and has done exceptionally well when it comes to allowing women to represent in different board positions, whether in publicly listed companies or non-publicly listed companies, even in the government. But they did that because they believed in women's capabilities. They believed in national talent. And that's why it's very important for us to take or adopt those values and principles that were instilled in us as UAE nationals on a global stage. And this will allow me to serve our 160 member states in a very transparent and fair manner. And that's what we want to achieve.
Tourism. It's often seen as leisure, but of course, in your hands now, it is diplomacy, it is development, it's about dialogue as well. What do you think is the most misunderstood power of tourism that the world still hasn't fully grasped?
Tourism, I think, is not on the top of the agendas still, but it will. I think this is what I want to get to through my role. I think there's a lot of potential and there's a lot that we can show through tourism. We need to change the world's perception of tourism. And that's what I want to do. I want to, as I mentioned as well, tourism I want to create an impact on lives, communities, environment, and the economy. And this can be done through tourism because you have so many stakeholders involved in tourism, whether hotels, connectivity, you have transportation, you have small businesses, they all live on tourism.
Exactly.
But I think this can be shown or communicated in a much more effective and reasonable manner.
Speaking to everything that you've just said, your stated priorities include sustainability, digital transformation, economic empowerment, ethical governance, and cultural exchange. These really do form a very progressive and holistic vision. Which of these do you feel are the most urgent right now?
I'll be looking into 5 different regions. You have Africa, Europe, Asia, Middle East, and Latin America. I have to look at it independently. Every region will have its own needs, its own requirements, and we have to try to look into their potential and see how we can leverage on that and set our priorities or set priorities for those destinations accordingly. So let's take, for example, Africa or Latin America. We need to go and we need to assess what is needed. Let's say connectivity, for example. How can we get the right airlines, or whether they have national airlines or not? How can we create the right infrastructure? How can we promote investments in these countries? How can we, number one, see if the people there need training and education? So obviously, every part or every factor that I've just mentioned will complement one another, and it's very important for us to have a fair assessment of these factors or these elements before we take action.
When we're talking about these priorities, how do you plan to translate them into tangible policies as well, especially when we're talking about developing regions and tourism-dependent countries?
Look, I think the policy should not complicate things for the destination. The policy should make things much easier. And having the right procedure and right policy in place will need to be monitored. It will need to be, we need to question it. We need to see whether the recommendations we make and the policies we that we want them to implement are actually making an impact or not. But this we will be able to determine this over a period of time. We need to give it a month, 2 or 3 months before we actually see tangible results. So follow-up is key. I think follow-up is very important. What the UN tourism was able to achieve over the last 50 years and what the outgoing Secretary General was able to achieve is great. I think it's my time now to continue this legacy, and it's my time as well to see how we can come up with also new initiatives that can complement what has already been done.
Of course, from mega events to heritage destinations, the UAE has really mastered turning culture into commerce. What are the specific strategies from the UAE's playbook that you think are vital to global tourism and to really be able to scale them globally as well?
Sally, I think the perfect answer to your question is Expo. Expo was a great example of what the UAE managed to deliver in an exceptional manner. We were able to show what tolerance means, what culture means, and what innovation means. And I think the way it has delivered it was something that will always be remembered by so many people. So I think if this was done or rolled out or adopted in other countries, it can be used as a great case study or a great best practice of what can be adopted or implemented in so many other destinations.
We did an interview with Her Excellency Riemann Hashemi.
Yes.
And spoke to her about Expo and how it was developed, how it was created, and how they managed to bring 192 nations together in such a manner. And you're absolutely...
In a very difficult time as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't an easy period, but we managed to show the world what we're capable of.
One of the most powerful things that stood out to me from the experience of Expo is the way the consultation with all of the nations involved was so central to the success of Expo, and to bring in different perspectives and different experiences to create something that was truly global. And this is a part of your mandate as Secretary General-elect. You're going to be working with both governments as well as private sector giants as well. So talk to me a little bit more about the partnerships that you...
I think that's a good question coming from the private sector. And look, the UN tourism has around, I think, 160 member states and around 500 affiliate members from the private sector. We need to find ways how we can bridge or create the right synergies between private sector through this huge network of affiliate members and the member states. And this will all depend on the needs and requirements of those destinations. But we have to take the initiative of creating this synergy. Because I'm sure that you cannot do without the private sector. And it's key to contributing to so many destinations and economies. And let's say Booking.com, for example, you have different stakeholders and tourism that can do a lot for destinations.
You've been trusted, of course, to represent not just a country, but a global future. How do you prepare yourself internally to lead with such a responsibility?
Being an active listener, I think it's very important. And since the election in May till today, I managed to meet a lot of the member states. I think I saw, whether online or in person, around 50 ministers. And my objective for these meetings was to listen, and listen. Because the more you listen, the more you learn, The more you learn, you'll be able to know how can you tackle each destination differently.
Your Excellency is the first woman, again, to hold this UN tourism role. It's really a very powerful symbol. So I'd love to know from you, what do you think we're missing at the leadership level in terms of gender equity, as well as throughout the tourism ecosystem?
I hate questions like that. I think, it's not only us, what we can, I think your performance, your track record, your what you drive in terms of results should indicate whether you deserve to be in a position or not, regardless of your gender. I think it all depends on you and your attitude and your approach. If you have the right approach and the right attitude, nothing is impossible, no matter what gender you come from.
So it's safe to say then you deliberately don't lead differently then. When you walk into a room where you are the only woman, then you're somebody who decides to take charge no matter what.
Sally, I never felt like I had to ever prove myself as a woman. I think at the end of the day, your action would speak what you can do. Action would speak louder than words. It's very important for you to have the right approach and have the right attitude in anything you do. And when you're passionate and when you believe in yourself and believe in what you do, I think that's what matters.
Your leadership platform really speaks to ecological regeneration as well as digital equity. So how can tourism then balance growth with restoring ecosystems and uplifting communities as well?
I think, especially when it comes to tourism and what's happening and how digital transformation is being adopted, we need to embrace that. But we need to also, in my opinion, nothing will be able to replace human connection. And that's what hospitality is all about. It's all about human connection, and it's all about the dialogue, the encounters, and the things that you experience in the different destinations you go to. And what digital transformation can always help, and in my opinion is very important, is it will help you understand your travelers or guests better. It will help you serve them better and create unforgettable memories for them. But at the same time, it will also allow you to manage your expenses and your operational expenses in a much reasonable way. Sustainability also, when you talk about sustainability is very important. And I think it's no longer an option, it's a necessity in everything you do. It's the foundation of what tourism should be about. When you talk about people, when you talk about the environment and the economy. Let's take an example. If you think of human capital, you invest in human capital. You invest in trainings, you invest in education. This will always have a huge impact to the industry and to the people of the industry. And that's how sustainability relates to human capital. When you speak about implementing the right policies into building the buildings, the hotels, for example, building it with a certain regulation or requirement and guidelines, it will have a huge impact on the long run. Let's say if you implement the right solar panels in hotel buildings, this might be costly at the beginning, but on the long run, it will have a huge impact on the environment and on your balance sheet. So that's how you should, I think, have the right balance. I think it's always important for you to know the results sustainability can drive on the long run and the short run.
It's important to have that long-term view.
Exactly.
It's critical. But if you had full creative control, what is one global tourism initiative or movement that you would launch tomorrow that doesn't exist yet?
Since the election, we've been traveling a lot and meeting a lot of people. And what inspired me during a trip that I had to Congo in Africa was the amount of talent and skills that I saw in its people. I feel this is something, if planned and done the right way, will have a great impact on the talent in different destinations. So we want to create a good program for artisans, where we try to develop and guide those artisans from different destinations to commercialize their product. Number one. Number two, we want to help by creating the right platform which can showcase those products.
Yeah.
This will have an impact on those artisans by creating an income for them and by allowing them to thrive.
I love that so much, because when you go to a destination, you want to see what the people of that place create and make. It's part of their culture, it's part of their art, and you want to be able to take that home if you can.
Like South Africa, again, because I came back from South Africa. They had beautiful things.
Yeah.
They have beautiful things and very talented and passionate artisans that really want to use their culture and tradition reflected on these artisans or souvenirs or giveaways.
It is such a great way to uplift communities and economies as well. It's critical.
Yes.
You, of course, speak the language of diplomacy, but what is something that you think we're not talking enough about in leadership circles today?
I think vulnerability. It's very important for us to communicate that, address it in the right way, and find the right protocols and organizations to address this and know how to resolve it. And an authentic, I think it's, as I said, active listening is very important. You don't need to take action immediately, but the fact that you listen and the fact that you show vulnerable people that you're listening to them, I think is enough. You don't have to take immediate action, but if you at least give them the comfort that things will take time, things can be resolved in a transparent manner, this would give more confidence and comfort in allowing vulnerable people to thrive as well.
And allowing them to feel seen and heard.
Exactly.
And
that's why I think communication is very important. This is actually one of the things I want to focus more on through my mandate. I feel it's very important that through the listening tour and through the visits I'm going to make, or I have already made to a lot of destinations, it's important that we have a protocol in place that, yes, we have taken note of what has been expressed. We're going to take action, maybe not today, tomorrow, but follow up is very important as well.
The world today is both more connected and more fragmented than it ever has been. How do you navigate that kind of a paradox? And how do you build bridges when sometimes you see nations pulling apart?
I think it's simply through the act of good. And I think this can be reflected or delivered through tourism as well.
Yeah.
There's nothing like an act of goodness, Sally. And it's not difficult. When you smile to people, when you welcome them with humbleness, with warmth, with genuineness, I think this has an impact more than what you can imagine.
Yeah.
You don't realize it in the moment, but you will eventually realize it.
I don't think we realize that the value of tourism for really opening up relationships between people who seem so different
Yes.
to each other, and to be able to understand one another. And when you visit a country that you don't know, the people you don't know, the food you don't know, that opens up a whole different level of human connection, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's why, going back to what I mentioned at the beginning, it's the people that makes a huge difference in a destination. You can have beautiful attractions, you can have beautiful facilities, but if you don't have the right people or people with the right mindsets to serve, it won't make a difference.
When we're thinking about disparities in digital infrastructure, especially when we're talking about rural emerging markets as well, how can UN Tourism ensure equitable access to innovation?
I'll give you an example. Hub 71, again in the UAE, or the hackathon that, hackathons in different countries that embrace talented youth that have ideas, innovative ideas that can have a huge impact on the tourism sector. How can we engage them? How can we integrate them and have them part of the system? This is key. And this comes with active engagements in different conferences, maybe creating the right committees. And I know that UN Tourism has been very active with creating the right committees in different from different countries, and for different subjects as well, whether innovation, whether education, whether connectivity, let's say. So I think if we engage with the right universities, with the right think hubs, the right institutes, and subject experts, we will be able to navigate and navigate into the subject matter.
What does success look like at the end of your term? How will you know that you have transformed UN Tourism?
In this digital era, everything can be quantified. And it's going to be very important for me to measure my success based on numbers and the things I want to deliver. And this can be easily identified through embracing the right digital platforms, or the reports we can generate that will reflect what has been delivered and the things I want to achieve. Obviously, all this will be important for me because I want to leave by making sure that I made an impact on lives, communities, the economy, and the environment.
Give us a picture of what that vision would look like for you.
When you speak again about the tourism industry is the second, after the government, is the second industry that creates jobs. So this does impact a lot of lives. I want to see how we can advocate for a better environment through tourism, through attractions, through biodiversity, environment, all these things. Another thing would be economies, because small businesses will thrive. Small businesses will also benefit from the tourism. And that's what I would like to see.
Finally, Your Excellency, I would love for you to give some advice to those young women, not just even young women, to those who are aspiring leaders who are coming up now. What would your advice be to them who want to combine public purpose with global leadership?
I think it's very important to embrace the opportunities that come your way. Serve with purpose, humility, believe in yourself. And it's also very important to seek positive results that will make a huge impact on the community, on the environment, and on the economy.
If you're focused on people, it feels like you can't go wrong.
No.
In that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Your Excellency, I want to congratulate you once again on your historic election. We're incredibly excited to see what your position and your platform is going to bring for global tourism. We're incredibly proud to see you here and to make such an incredible impact, not only in the region, but on the global stage. Thank you so much for joining us on She Leads.
Thank you so much, Sally. It was so nice being with you today. Thank you.